Okay, so now on number 5, notice how this question is different from the last question, from say number 4. Let me see if I can roll back here to number 4. My iPad's so slow. What's the difference, guys and gals, between number 5 and number 4?
There's already 2 common denominators on the bottom.
There are. That's one difference. I'm looking for something even more fundamental.
They're not in parentheses.
Okay, there's no parentheses. How about the operations in the middle? What's here and here?
Negative and plus.
And
That
here.
one's and divided.
Yeah, we're changing from adding, subtracting to multiplying, dividing. That's gigantic. I don't know if you're aware of that. Let me make note of that. So this is super, super, super important when it comes to fractions. So when you're adding or subtracting fractions, you must make
Common denominator.
Yeah, denominator's the same, common, and that's what we did. That was problems, that was earlier, that was some of the earlier problems, right?
With dividing and multiplying, you don't have to do that.
Exactly. But when you're multiplying, dividing fractions, we don't need same denominators. It's in fact easier, therefore. So this is going to be an easier question. So in other words, I'm not going to go over here and go, oh, okay, I got to multiply 3, 3, 3, 3, 7, 7 to make all those denominators 21. No, I'm not going to do any of that, because it's not an adding, subtracting question. It's a multiplying, dividing question. Does that make sense? Everybody good with that?
Yes.
That's important that you know that. So when you take the exam, they're going to be all mixed up. And so you're going to need to keep all that straight, the difference in those rules. So it's only when you're adding, subtracting fractions that you have to make denominators the same. If you're multiplying, dividing, it's not required. Okay, so what do you do then? Well, you just follow the PEMDAS. You guys know the PEMDAS, right? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Now, this is where it's important that you write it like I write it. What do I mean like I write it? Well, some people write it, I've seen them write it like this. Don't write it like that. Why not? Because that makes it look like M is above D. M is not actually above D. M and D are the same level, and A and S are the same level. That's why I write it that way. It's not just a looks thing, it's meaningful. It's important, and it's going to come up in this question in particular. Parentheses are the top priority. Exponents come next. And then multiplying and dividing are the same level. So what? Same level. Which means when two things are on the same level, you do them left to right. And it's the same thing for adding, subtracting. Adding, subtracting are the same level, so do them left to right. So, okay, so what's my point in all that? Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do this dividing first. And you say, no, Mitchell, you got to do the multiply first. Multiplying comes before dividing. It does not. That's my very point. Multiplying and dividing are the same level. That's why this is actually not correct, because it makes it look like multiplying is a higher priority than dividing. It is not. Multiplying and dividing are on the same level, which means, well, how do you know which one you do first then? You do left to right. And so whichever one comes on the left goes first. Whether that's multiplying or dividing doesn't matter to us. They're the same level, so whoever comes first on the left goes first. So we do the dividing first on this one before the multiplying. Does everybody see that? So let's do that. Now, how do you divide? Well, you guys know, right? Remember, it's keep, change, flip. Keep the first one, change the sign in the middle, and flip the guy on the right. So I'm going to keep the first one, change to times, and flip the one on the right. Now, what about the other one? He's still over there. I'll just put him over there. He's just sitting there. But is that making sense? I did the keep, change, flip, right? Because dividing is upside down multiplying. You flip the one on the right of the divide symbol. See how I flipped the 1, the 4 sevens? It's just to the right of the divide symbol there, and change to multiplication. All right, now it's just a big old multiplication problem, isn't it? How do we do it? Remember, we can cross cancel. And by the way, you can do any of the 3 of these. It doesn't really matter. They're all multiplying now. It's all good. Cross cancel those 2. You can also go 2 into 4 2 times. So what's left over? 5 on the top. And 3 times 2, 6 on the bottom. Done. That was a little tricky. Let me go back over that again with you. So multiplying, dividing are the same level. PEMDAS. M and D are the same level. So you just do them left to right, whichever one comes first. So the dividing comes first, which means you flip the 1 to the right of the dividing. That's what we always do, because dividing is upside down multiplying. Change to multiplication. Flip the 1 to the right, change to multiplication. And then we cross cancel. 7 and 7. They're totally gone. And 2 goes into 4. They're gone 2 times. And then you just multiply whatever's left over. 2 times 3 is left over on the bottom, 6. 5 on the top. There we go.